Hi, this is Miss Harrell, and we are going to start Unit 4 off. In Unit 4, Lesson 1 is I can identify the rate of change and y-intercept in a real-world problem. And we're going to be putting this together in this linear equation. So I can identify the rate of change and y-intercept in a real-world problem. We have been talking about word problems, and we were writing equations from those word problems. And now we're going to start looking at what happens when we put in an independent variable x and get an output of a dependent variable y. And we're going to do that several times to create these lines. So the very first thing, our m represents our slope. And our slope, when we look at the definition of our blue line here on our picture, it's what angle that line occurs in our graph. Okay, and so when we're graphing it, how steep or flat or up or down is our line. Now, slope can also be considered the rate of change. And our rate of change in our equations, we were looking at words such as per and each and every. Okay, we're going to get into an examples, but per, each, and every are where you're going to see the rate of change. Now, our B is our y-intercept. And if we're looking at our graph example to the right, our B is that point in which our line crosses the y-axis. It is also what is our starting point. Okay, it's considered our starting point. So let's get into it and look at some examples. Taylor deposits $20 each month from his savings account. His savings account had $300 in it originally. So the very first thing we're going to see is that when I look at each, I'm going to put my variable x. So that means that I have 20 deposit of 20 each month. That means that our m is going to be 20. Now I have to look at the word in front of it, deposits, to decide is this a positive 20 or a negative 20. Well, a deposit is an addition to, so it's going to be a positive 20. Now next, I'm looking at our starting point. His savings account originally had $300. That means our B number is going to be 300. And again, we need to decide, is it a positive or a negative? And because it already had money in it, that means our 300 is going to be positive. So we're going to rewrite our function rule is y is equal to mx plus b. Our m is a positive 20, so it's going to be 20x, and our b is 300. And so we rewrite the equation like that, or our function rule as such. Y is equal to 20x plus 300. You ready to try it again? I can suppose that the water level of a river is 34 feet and that it is receding at a rate of 0.5 foot per day. Write an equation of the water level after X days. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say, where is each or per or every? There is no each or per or every with my 34 feet, so I'm going to see rate of 0.5 foot per day. There's my X. That means that my M is going to be 0.5 feet. And our starting point, well, where did the river start at? Oh, I forgot. Looking at my rate, it is receding at a rate of 0.5 feet per day. Does that mean that it is going up or it's going down? Well, receding means to pull back. So instead of a positive 0.5, it's going to be a negative 0.5. Next, we are looking at our starting point, or our y-intercept. It says that we started at 34 feet. So that's going to be 34. And again, I have to think about it. Is it a positive or a negative? Well, it is a positive 34. So I'm going to fill out my function rule, y equals mx plus b. Oops. So my x, or my m, is a negative 0.5. and my B is a positive 34. So, Ms. Harrell, what if the starting point said that it was 10 feet below sea level? Well, if it had said 10 feet below sea level, that means our m would be a negative 10, and we could rewrite this as y equals negative 0.5 x minus 10. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a plus b. If we start with a negative number, then it's going to be a minus b. You have to really think about what the question is asking you. If you're still, we're going to move on to our guided practice. So I want you to hit pause and go on to mark this assignment as done. And then I want you to go to the guided practice where you're going to try this on your own and watch and see if you're correct.